What's up, y'all? Jules, Jessie here with Clapback Culture. So glad to be in the building with my co-host, Mike Davis of the South Seattle Emerald. What up, Mike?
Hey, what's up, Julia? How's it going today?
Feeling good
Good.
Thursday, feel good Thursday. As you already know, one day into the weekend.
Me too. Me
What more
too.
can we ask for?
Oh, almost dropped my pen, man. Yeah, it's about to be a good one too, man. We got another full show again. It's like the news it has not stopped this year. I'm excited about tonight.
I am too. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Clapback. Glad to have you here, all of our returning fans and anybody new. Make sure you guys pull up in the comments. We really want to hear from y'all today. Oh, John Jupiter, welcome back, bro.
Glad you're free. Glad they freed you.
Word. What's good? What's up, Big O? We see you in the building as well. So it wouldn't be right, y'all, if we did not talk about COVID real quick. We're not going to stay on this too long, but Pfizer is telling us that we might have to get that fourth dose. I don't know how I'm feeling about that, but the Pfizer CEO, he announced that a fourth dose is recommended. And he basically commented saying that the protection that we are getting from the third is good enough, actually quite good for hospitalizations and deaths, but it's not good against infections. I don't know, bro. I mean, at this point, I've had 3 shots. I don't know if I'm going for a fourth. Y'all, are you guys getting a fourth shot? Let us know in the comments.
Nah, I don't think nah, man.
Yeah,
No, we're done here. Maybe next year, like figure that out. Like if they get that on a once a year schedule, maybe they could come holler at me. But nah, man, you got me 3 times. You're not getting me again. I'm good. I just don't get it. Plus, if the shot is still good enough to where I ain't got to worry about being in the hospital and dying, man, I'll take that. Like I'm chilling, but I'm not about to just be running and getting a new shot of some medicine every, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I'm good. They're doing too much.
It's way too much. Can we just keep it 100? You know, we always say on Clapback Culture, we're gonna keep it black. And I'm gonna say the elephant in the room, y'all. This is why Black people don't want to get vaccinated, because when you start laying things out like, oh, you're gonna need another one, I'm telling you, the conversation at the table is like, man, I ain't getting that. It's just I'm not doing that. I'm not putting any. I'm good. We're not doing it. I'm not. Dang, Leon, you're open to the idea of another booster, huh?
Dr. Jackson, I'm right there too. It definitely feels like a money thing, man. Nah, I'm not here to see Pfizer line their pockets. Plus, if we're keeping it real, like, yo, I never had a flu shot ever. Like, I wasn't just, there's no yearly vaccine that I've ever gotten. I've gotten it when I needed to. And to be real, it was when I was a baby. Like when I had my kids and they tried to tell me that I had to get the whooping cough, no, you're not my doctor. And I, for real, it was like, nah, no, thank you. So I'm not about to start right now just putting a bunch of stuff in my body just to do it. I'm straight with that.
Facts. Also, well, this isn't on the menu, but since we're talking about COVID, the mask mandate for schools came down here actually on the 16th. So kids went to school today, did not have to wear a mask. How do you feel about the mask requirements for students, and or are you taking your mask off? How are you feeling about that?
Man, I'm not gonna lie, it's on a case by case basis, and you know I do some work with high schoolers, and I'm not gonna front. Yo, I be wearing my mask around them, but that's only because they've been so irresponsible this whole time that I just don't really trust that age group. But everywhere else, I have gotten a little more relaxed, man. It's a case by case basis for me, but it is strange because what we're seeing in Seattle public schools is a lot of communications where, you know, they're getting on the teachers because they can't share their opinions with the kids. So if you're an adult and you want a mask or not mask, you could do whatever, but they're pushing a really, really hard line on not passing those ideas on to others. So it feels kind of weird.
Listen, at this point, we're 2 years into the pandemic, out of the pandemic. I don't know. If we have to go back into a work environment and students have to, they don't have to wear their mask anymore. They're talking about a fourth dose. I'm cool off the mask. I'm going to wear my mask like you said, on a needs basis. Sometimes I'll put it on into the store, like when I go into the store. But honestly, when I'm around people who don't have their mask on and I put it on, I feel like I'm being offensive. Isn't that crazy? Like the tables have now turned where a lot of people are ready to go maskless. And I'm like, dang, maybe I should take my mask off so they don't think I think they have COVID or something. But honestly, I'm not really scared of catching COVID anymore. I'm off the third booster. It just is what it is at this point. So
I feel weird. I'm not gonna lie. I feel weird about getting to the place in our society where people are just wearing masks all the time. And I know that in other cultures, there's other countries, there's other places where they do that. And I don't mean that as disrespect to them, but that just was never really a thing here. And I don't feel comfortable about letting it become a thing here. And we just seen a famous rich director get hemmed up at the bank
yeah,
because wearing a mask makes him look like a threat. So, like, man, nah, I'm not trying to be the black dude with dreads walking around with a beanie and a mask on with some shades. Like,
oh gosh, Mike Davis,
for real though, like, I'm getting profiled because of this mask, man. So I'm ready. I'm ready to go back.
Yeah, you know what? We'll leave it on that note and move on, y'all. We talked about this on the morning update show just a little bit. We teased it with Trey Holiday, but we talked about a Texas lawmaker filing a bill that would abolish and criminalize abortions. This is so out of pocket. Anyway, it's leaving women and physicians who perform the procedure to face criminal charges that would carry y'all the death penalty. Stop what you're doing. I think we have a clip. Let's run it.
A North Texas lawmaker is sponsoring a bill that could have women facing the death penalty for having an abortion. That's right. Not only would abortions be banned, they would become a serious crime. Arlington Republican Tony Tinderholt is the lawmaker behind this bill. He says it would accomplish one goal, bringing equal treatment for unborn human beings under the law. He's not getting a lot of support. In fact, top Republicans say that bill won't even go up for a vote.
So, guys, I don't think it's going to go up. But this is just still extremely discriminatory and just so like I don't know. I mean, we're going to talk about the metaverse later on in this show. We're talking about futurism and somebody's talking about abortion laws leading to the death penalty. Come on, stop what you're doing. I can't even take this serious.
Well, I think the fact that you're not taking it serious is the reason why it belongs here. You know, we talked last week about, or it wasn't last week, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that crazy, the Florida law that we knew was going nowhere when DeSantis put out that ridiculous letter about arresting trans kids' parents. I see this as that same thing. He's like, how far can we go? How Republican can I be? How conservative can my values be for my constituency? Oh, I got it. Death penalty for abortions. We know it's not going anywhere, but what it is going to do, it's going to help that politician gain a little political capital because this is the next step of him hunkering down in that position. But it's not real. It's not really about the law. Now, what bothers me about this is that it is a real bill, and this is a real bill that got put forward. So we might end up in a situation where one of these crazy conservatives trying to be the most conservative, trying to be the furthest right, they're going to put something ridiculous up one day and it is going to move forward. And then where are we going to be? And I think that that's kind of where I'm at with this story. It's not going to happen this time, but what about next time and the time after that? We have to make it to a place where people on the left are not fighting to be the furthest left. People on the right are not fighting to be the furthest right. Like, we have to get back to a place of nuance and realistic conversations and common sense. Otherwise, this is this type of stuff that we're going to get from our elected officials, man. And this is wild.
Actually, I agree with your point. I think you swayed me a little bit here, Mike Davis, but I think there's a little bit for me, a little bit of fatigue that there's so many, like Amari said, men posing these kinds of laws on women. Like, first of all, why is it always a man that wants to reach deep down in my uterus and make decisions about what I can and cannot do with my internal organs? Okay. To equate abortion to homicide, you guys, is just absolutely ridiculous and asinine. Mike, you've convinced me that perhaps I should be considering this a little bit more seriously, because this is an elected official. And that means that people are backing this. Whether or not his colleagues are going to back this and support this piece of legislation, we ultimately know that's probably not going to happen. But the fact that he has a constituency and a base that he's pandering to that is in support of this is just like crazy to me. And so we do need to think about that, and we do need to think about who those voters and what they reflect.
And more importantly too, how is that going to affect the elected officials looking for future elections? If they're seeing that this politician that stood firm on women should get the death penalty for abortions, and then his voters eat that up and they like it, well, now the next politician is going to come in with that type of stance. So when you say that, of course, his peers aren't going to let this move forward, well, what worries me is that if stuff like this keeps happening, the people who his peers are going to shift, and we're going to get more of those type of people. And at that point, these type of bills might actually start to move forward.
Yeah, when something's rotten, it can spoil the whole bunch. So
Dang.
Our next story is really crazy, you guys, and it happened right here in Washington, D.C. There was a man who was arrested this week, actually a few days ago, who was arrested and charged with shooting 5 people, and he was allegedly targeting homeless people. We have a video. Let's take a look.
Ken, we just got that news moments ago from a law enforcement source telling ABC News that ATF agents working in Washington, D.C. made that arrest overnight, arresting the man you're about to see on your screen. Take a look at your screen. These are some clear mask-free shots of the man police had been trying to find. And again, the breaking news just moments ago is that ATF agents say they arrested this man in Washington, D.C.'s southeast section overnight. Now, police said this photo was recently taken, and he is accused of shooting at least 5 different homeless men, killing one in D.C. earlier this month and another here in Manhattan over the weekend. Ballistic evidence was used to match all those shootings back to the same gun. Now, at a joint press conference Monday in D.C. with Mayor Eric Adams, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, and top police brass from both departments, we learned how a D.C. police officer first made the connection.
He happened to be scrolling through his social media over the weekend, where he saw an image of the New York City suspect.
From the moment we learned the 2 shootings were linked, we launched a citywide effort to reach out to the homeless population.
And overnight, our cameras actually captured NYPD officers out here in Lower Manhattan handing out wanted flyers and reaching out to the local homeless population, trying to make sure they know about this gunman who had been targeting them, and also trying to get them into shelters. If you want to come back out here live, I'll show you that some people have left signs and flowers and posters out here on Howard Street, where a homeless man was murdered, shot dead while he was sleeping on the sidewalk on Saturday morning. And so now again, the breaking news, since that shooting 3 days ago, police have already made an arrest.
I'm only laughing because I'm reading the comments, because you guys are wild in the comments. John.
Hey, John Jupiter is trying to go back to Facebook jail. You just got home, John.
It always be us. Listen, this happened right here in my backyard. This is my neighbor, and this is absolutely just heartbreaking to hear. This individual, I believe 38 years old, and he recently finished out a stay at St. Elizabeth's Hospital, which is a mental health institution. His father and one of his cousins was also on one of the news reports that I had viewed. And his father basically feels like the system failed his son and other individuals with mental health issues. And he didn't seem surprised that his son was able to carry something so savage out. This is very sad. And yeah, beyond sad.
Yeah, it was disturbing. I don't recommend anybody watches any of the videos, but like in one of the videos, he kicked the person sleeping to wake the person up and then shot him. Like that, man. I mean, I'm just glad that they got this person off the street, and that it was one individual. So, the police were able to confirm that this wasn't multiple shooters. But I mean, this is just a sad story, man. And I mean, I hate that we keep having to say this, but homeless people are still people. You know what I mean? So like when you're seeing this type of crime, it's dude, it's just so dehumanizing to see someone just walking around doing this specifically to the homeless folks that were sleeping and not even bothering nobody. So I'm glad that they got that person off the streets.
100%. Yeah, that's kind of bad vibes. Let's switch topics to something more of a good vibe. Your boy Tom Brady is making a comeback, a 23rd season. He was retired for what, 1 month, Mike Davis, and he
40 days. He did 40 days at home and went back to work.
In a tweet, you guys, he said, "These past 2 months, I've realized my place is still on the field and not in the stands. That time will come, but it's not now. I love my teammates and I love my supportive family. They make it all possible. I'm coming back for my 23rd season in Tampa, unfinished business." Good for you, Tom Brady.
Unfinished. He ain't there. What
You
unfinished
won 7
business?
Super Bowls. What are you like? There is no unfinished business.
The most decorated champion, man. He'd be a Hall of Famer if he would have lasted more than 40 days in retirement. Like that is hilarious, man.
I love this for Tom Brady. I love this for the NFL. I love this just for sports in general. Tom Brady is he's such a unicorn. To be 44 years old, to have played in the league for over 20 years. I'm sure he sat at home for 2 months and his wife was just like, yo, you got to go back to work, bro, because I can't with you. Can you just imagine Tom Brady being like a stay-at-home dad? Like he's probably losing his mind. And
Clearly.
I think he had fatigue after he came home from that season and was just like, Antonio Brown just blew his mind. And now he's just like, you know what? Let me just cook something back up. I don't know what I was thinking. So I'm happy to see him coming back. And I think this is something great for Tampa and terrible for everybody else because you know he's going to come through and sweep.
It's crazy. I mean, it's good for fans, man. If you're a sports fan and you root for greatness, then you know you're going to want to see this. And can he do it? Is going to be the question. He's going to be 45 when the season starts, man. But it's going to be a fun one.
Hey, listen, my money is in. I'm betting for Tom Brady. So let's cash that in. All right, y'all. We're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, another thing on the sports tip, we're going to talk about Naomi Osaka. We'll be right back.
When the pandemic hit, it did affect me. As a barber, I had my own personal reasons why I didn't get vaccinated. At the time, I didn't check the actual source. I thought the vaccine was developed too fast, but I was talking to the doctor and he was telling me more about the vaccine and what it can do to protect us and our family. I wanted to get back to that once was, right? I do feel safe knowing that I am vaccinated. I just hope what I'm saying is reaching into people's heads to know that this is the best decision for all of us.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the show. More in sports news, you guys. We're talking about Naomi Osaka, and she burst into tears following a game, actually during the game, Mike, when a heckler in the stands was shouting, Naomi, you suck. And it really was a lot. She went to the umpire to try to see if the umpire would address the heckler, which they did not. We do have some video footage. Let's take a look and we'll come back and talk about it.
And mental health.
I feel like I've cried enough on camera, but
The four-time major champion and former world #1 tennis player in tears.
I just wanted to say thank you and congratulations.
Naomi Osaka taking the mic after her second-round loss to Veronika Kudermetova at the Indian Wells Masters. The 24-year-old requesting to address the crowd after being heckled by a spectator in the stands. Right there, listen again. A visibly upset Osaka asking the chair umpire to have the heckler removed, but the umpire rejecting her request.
And I don't know why, but like it went into my head and it got replayed a lot.
Osaka saying the setting reminded her of Serena Williams playing there in 2001. The crowd booing as Richard and Venus Williams watched her play. An incident the family calls traumatic and believes was racist. Both players boycotting the tournament for more than a decade.
I'm trying not to cry.
The 24-year-old, who's been open about her mental health struggles with anxiety and, quote, long bouts of depression, even stepping back from the spotlight, withdrawing from last year's French Open after opting not to do media interviews against tournament rules.
I honestly don't know when I'm going to play my next tennis match. Sorry.
And taking a 4-month break from tennis, but it's been a rocky return for the now 78th ranked Osaka.
All right, y'all. Definitely a sad, sad, sad moment. And why are people messing with Naomi Osaka, you guys? You know, she's just coming back into the sport. She has battled a lot of mental health issues. She's been really open and candid about that. And she took a step back to get herself together. And with that being said, it's just really sad that, you know, this heckler was able to get so far into her head that she wasn't able to kind of really, you know, shake it off and get back into it. She also talked about, you know, having watched video of Serena Williams, you know, while she was at the Indian Wells Masters, and, you know, hecklers, you know, the same thing, like you saw in the video, people booing her as she played. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that it's just extremely sad. And I mean, my heart just breaks for the girl, you know? I mean, come on. Oh, we can't hear you, Mike.
Man, my bad. I'm trying to think of how to go about this, man. Is this a safe space? Can we be real or not?
Go ahead. I mean, look, you're an athlete.
Real.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to say she was pretty soft?
I'm going to say there's a difference between mental illness and mental toughness.
Mm-hmm.
The heckler said, Naomi, you suck. If somebody's saying you suck is enough to get you out of your... Man, we was getting called the N-word at basketball games when we were 8 years old. You're a grown woman and somebody can't say you suck. That's not a heckle. That's an opinion. Then she brought up the Williams sisters. Yo, they booed Venus and Serena's whole family from the parking lot. The minute they pulled in, they booed them before they got out of the car. Then they booed them when they walked in. They booed them as they walked down the stairs. Then they booed her for her entire match. That's nothing like one person saying you suck so low that people couldn't hear it. She tried to stop the whole match. Are you kidding me? Like, at some point, enough is enough. Like, maybe tennis just isn't for you. Like, if every little thing, every piece of your job is such a stress, then don't stress yourself out. Like, it's just not for you. But like the idea that she's not going to do post-game interviews and now nobody can say nothing to her, like, stop it, man. There's no game without fans. If people aren't paying money for those seats, then you don't get paid. So come to work and do your job and stop crying about it. This is too much. It's too much for me.
Yeah, she's definitely showing, she's just exposing herself so much. I think what she should have done, even though the heckler got into her head, she should not have taken the microphone and addressed the situation. She should have bowed out gracefully. She should have shook her opponent's hand, you know, great game, and moved on, and then went and talked to her team, or better yet, her therapist. I mean, if that's how you're feeling. But I agree, you know, at this point, she seems like she's going through something else, because as a professional athlete, you're absolutely going to face hecklers in the audience. You're going to face boos, people that are in opposition of you. You are there to compete, keep your head in the game. And I think you're right. That mental toughness is just not there. And perhaps it is time for her to hang it up.
I will say there are times when fans go too far. Like I don't want to act like the players are not people or like we own them. And I think somebody said something about Russell Westbrook in the comments, and I think that that's a great example. You know, with the whole Westbrook thing, it's not even about him anymore. Now it's about his family. Now it's affecting his wife. Now it affects his son who goes to school and his last name is Westbrook. So like, you know what I mean? So if you're getting death threats, that's too much. Or if this extends to your family, this is too much. But one fan at one match saying you suck, like that's very different than some of the instances where we see fans crossing the line. I mean, we had NBA players not too long ago having fans throw beer. Russell Westbrook is one of them. Like last season, somebody threw popcorn at him. Like that's crossing the line. If somebody poured a beer on Naomi Osaka, then I'd be like, okay, enough is enough. But somebody saying you suck, like, come on, you have to be able to get past that.
I like Arlo's comment where they say, I agree, she could have addressed it later, but I'm wondering to what degree we allow mental struggles to be aired out in public in any and all settings, not just sports. So maybe elaborate a little bit on that, Arlo. I think because she is a professional athlete and she is there to do a job, let's not forget she's there getting paid, and she's there to, you know, conduct herself a particular way. The fans, obviously, you know, there is no rules on how they should kind of conduct themselves. But I honestly feel like she should have a little bit more mental toughness. It's a game. You know, keep your head in the game. That's a part of the whole coaching situation. But I don't know.
And I say too to Harry Jefferson's comment, because there's a lot of people that I've also heard say, like, you know, well, why do athletes have to talk after the games? The reason why athletes have to talk after the games is because ESPN paid $1 billion for the rights to air this game. And in that contract with those rights comes the responsibility of the players to speak at these post-game press conferences. Is also a collectively bargained piece of their contract that says that they have to do it. So it's occupational, like it comes with your occupation. It's literally a part of your job. If you have a job where you deal with people, you got to deal with the people. You know, like you can't just eliminate a part of your job. If they say they don't want to do those press conferences, well, then that's going to come with a tremendous cut in pay across the board. So at some point, man, like not every job is for everybody. And if you want to have a job that's going to be that high profile, it's going to be that stressful, it's going to be that much pressure on your mental health, well, then you have to be prepared to take that job. Otherwise, it's not for you. And that's okay too.
Naomi, never let them see you sweat, baby girl. Another professional athlete who is out here getting some dough cheese is LeBron James. He is jumping into the metaverse, you guys. He spent his money and he's taken his talents to the metaverse. He filed new trademarks for LeBron James, LeBron King James, and Chosen the #1. The filings indicate an intent to offer a few things: virtual footwear, virtual clothing, virtual basketball courts, and a few other things. Mike, can you elaborate a little bit more on what LeBron James purchased?
Man, I might be too old, man. We might need Cuddy up in here. It seems like LeBron James purchased a bunch of stuff that doesn't exist. He bought all of this stuff. All these trademarks are for the metaverse. So he's buying the rights to sell sneakers exclusively in the metaverse. He's buying like the rights to have LeBron James branded basketball courts in the metaverse. So like all of this stuff is going to exist there, but he's getting trademarks out here. We're still catching up, man. This is still brand new. I'm still not even sure that I'm going to be up in the metaverse, but that's wild that like you're going to be able to buy the new LeBron James sneakers, but they're only going to be on your avatar in the metaverse. Like they're not going to exist when you're really out here trying to flave in real life. Like, man, this technology, man, I might be washed because this technology is passing me by because I'm just not ready for this.
Y'all keep talking about you're too old for this. Let me tell you, the metaverse is here. It's here to stay, and you are absolutely going to have no choice but to be a part of it. And so we're talking about a virtual reality, you guys. We're talking about that, the augmented reality where you're going to wear these goggles. We're going to be sitting in rooms that are empty, and we're going to be sitting and viewing holograms and being able to interact with one another as avatars. And within this metaverse, we're going to live our daily lives. We're going to go to work. We're going to go to school. We're going to go to clubs. We're going to go to restaurants, and we're going to go shopping. And while we're there, I want to wear my LeBron sneakers. I might want to go hoop with my homeboys on LeBron courts. And so that's exactly what LeBron James is talking about. NFTs. People are buying the NFTs now. How are you going to stunt when you're in the metaverse? Let me pull up and show you my $1 million NFT that I bought with my cryptocurrency. So we're not too old. We are right here at the cusp. You got to think, Mike Davis, we're the millennials. We came into the internet right at its inception. So we understand this kind of this world of when there was cord phones, plugged into the wall, navigating into cordless phones, CDs, tapes, we know all of that, and MP3s all the way down to just digital technology as a whole. I am excited about the metaverse. I'm absolutely going to dive in deep, and there's really no way around it. Honestly,
I hate it. No.
It's no way around it. This is the future.
I don't like what the future is doing to our kids right now. These kids are not outside. Like, their whole lives are always on their phone. Like, their devices have so much control over them. This is why you can't tell these youngsters you suck, and then they break down and cry tears. She'll be one of the best tennis players in the world, but you tell her that she sucks, she's gonna cry tears. These kids are just, they can't handle anything real because they live these digital lives. And now we're going to put headsets on them. They're never going to leave their houses. They want to go to school there, the mall. They're going to kick it, man. Come on, man.
The way of the world. There's just this is here, you guys. It is here to stay. It is not going anywhere. If you see a person like LeBron James, who's investing millions of dollars in patenting this stuff, it's happening. It's here. It's going nowhere. So get your cryptocurrency and put your big girl panties on.
Get a bicycle. We're going outside. That was my universe. It was my bike and the homies. Like,
Arlo, it's a corporate matrix. Don't go in. I mean, listen, COVID was the perfect storm. It offered us a new way of life. No longer do we feel so connected and tied to these brick and mortar facilities, right? We want to interact digitally. Right now, we're using a digital platform to communicate and have conversations. Imagine if this was AR. We could all sit in a room and chop it up. You guys could be in the stands. We could be on the stage. I mean, imagine Dave Chappelle's going to come out with a new comedy show, and it's going to be like, you don't even have to leave your house. You can throw it on and you're kicking it. You can even have a drink. You can laugh. You can touch somebody.
With your LeBrons on.
You want to be dressed up. You know what I'm saying? Look good. You want to look good. You want to smell good. You want to have, your Gucci bag. Hello. I mean, this is where we're going to be.
You're right.
And I was talking to Rodney about it earlier, and he made such a good point. When you talk about celebrities, you guys, this offers such great security. Celebrities are going to be able to interact with their fans so much more because they're not going to have to physically be present. So if my avatar meets the Jay-Z and Beyonce avatar, they can't think I'm like some Unabomber. They're not worried about COVID. They're not worried about anything. I get to meet them. I even can meet Baby Blue. You know what I'm saying? So this is exactly where we're going. And, get that Bitcoin, get that cryptocurrency.
I mean, you make a good point. I got a homie that has the Oculus, the Oculus headset, and he watches basketball games from courtside seats without. It's kind of tight.
It is tight. It's tight. But you're right. It's gonna have its, everything new has, it's tough to adjust to. Like,
I started paying attention to the metaverse when they announced that Zuckerberg was talking to private companies, and before people started going back to the office, they wanted to create digital offices where people will go into the metaverse, and then you have your workplace, and you be in there with the avatars of your coworkers, and then it will be like you are at work. So
that's Zoom.
But that's more. It's just so much more immersive than Zoom.
It's 3D. It's like, I mean, it's even more than 3D.
I'm gonna be pissed if they start expecting us to sit in digital cubicles. Like, what kind of world is this? If I can sit at my house, but I gotta put on a headset to go virtually sit in a cubicle, man, y'all, it's crazy.
I mean, I'm the girl on Zoom who doesn't even want to come on camera. So, I mean, that's me. I'd rather just sit and just be like, yeah, hey guys, I'm going to be off camera right now, but
I do the symbol.
I'm still listening.
I like the thumbs up symbol. That's all. That's what I'm good for.
Oh gosh. Okay. All right, y'all. A good announcement. You know, Vice President Harris, we didn't know where you were, but girl, we saw you this week. She announced some grants for HBCUs that received those bomb threats last month. And there's some grants to really help to, I guess, protect them and offer some mental health services. It didn't really get into the thick of it, Mike Davis. But since January, with all of the bomb threats, I can't even speak. They wanted to do more for the HBCUs. And this is going to help campus life. Divert resources to campus life and increase the burden on mental health centers. So I don't know. I mean, another win for HBCUs, but are they pandering the base?
Look, if they are pandering the base, this is how you do it. If you want to pander to us with dollars. But overall, I think this is great for those of you. I mean, you know, a lot of y'all been here, so you know we covered it when they were receiving all the. We covered it when the HBCUs were receiving all of those bomb threats. It was so many of them over a short span of time. It's great. These funds coming from the White House, from VP Harris, goes directly to those institutions that receive those threats. They do go towards mental health support, like Julia said. They can also be used towards campus security and doing what they need to do to try to keep students safe. But any way you slice it, they're giving grants out to these HBCUs. And hopefully that sends a message, man, that our government does actually care about our students. And you could come in and make your threats, but we're going to support them and we're going to hold them down. So this is super dope, man. I was so happy to actually see this.
Yeah, it's not that much bread, though, if you think about it. The grants start at $50,000 up to no more than $150,000.
But all you have to do to get the grant is to have been threatened. So it's not like they had to apply or nothing like that. It's just like the government saying, look, man, they did you wrong. I see you. So
let me give you $150K.
Yeah, like, man,
and I'm old school. Like, what am I going to do with $150K when you just gave Ukraine $800 million?
I mean, that's a separate topic. That's a topic for next week.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, inflation is up. Like, gas is $5 a gallon. Like, what is my HBCU gonna do with $150,000? Nothing. Not enough. Not enough.
But when has the government done this?
Full $800 million. Where did that money come from? Where it like, you know what?
I mean, that's for white folks, man. I mean, that's, you know, white folks is gonna take care of white folks. That's what they do. What do you mean?
The opinions of Mike Davis do not reflect the opinions of Converge.
Hold on. Are we gonna sit here and say that's false? So if come on, man.
I'm gonna sit my tea.
I'm not even gonna go there tonight. But what I'm gonna tell you guys to do, Google Somalia and just go see what's popping over there. Google Yemen. Go see what's popping over there. Go see what's happening to people in those countries while the U.S. ignores them. We didn't ignore Ukraine, but go look at who we did ignore. And then watch what's going to happen when these Ukrainian refugees come. And then I want you to rewind the clock 6 months to literally 6 months ago and go look at what the Joe Biden administration did when those Haitian refugees were trying to come here. Just go look at that. And then look at how we're going to treat the Ukrainian refugees. This ain't Mike Davis popping it. This is what we see. We see how they take care of white folks and how they react to white folks. Also, what was it? White schools receiving bomb threats like that? It was only the HBCUs that was getting attacked like that. So, I mean, this is the game, man. We got to play the game. So, look, man, I'm not going to let VP Harris do too much, but she did a little bit.
A baby bit, $150K is baby money. That's not even $1 million. Like, it's not like, that's baby money. That is baby money.
Man, I've been the hardest on VP Harris.
Yeah, well,
I give her props one. I'll give her props one time.
I'm glad we brought it on the show, but I'm not. I'm literally. I know the presidents of these HBCUs are sitting with their board members, and they're like, this piss ass 150,000. Like they 150,000. Do you know I have like $80,000 worth of student loan debt? Like these kids are paying the same amount to go to school, and you want to give us less than you want to give us no, like at minimum 50,000 to increase public safety at our school. What? That's not even a salary of one police officer. Like, come on. Anyway, I agree with you that this is what they call Black people money, and they're giving us a little crumb so that we can have a little news story and say, oh, we're helping the HBCUs and we're giving them free grant money, but it's up to 150,000, y'all, and it's not enough bread. So another person who's being petty is, I don't know what, is Netflix, you guys, and I'm really feeling some type of way about this. Netflix is testing fee for subscribers sharing passwords with people outside of their household, y'all. Girl, I'm about to get caught up, y'all. Netflix is trying to add more money to the subscription of the person who is the account holder. So if you're on somebody's Netflix account and you guys don't live in the same address and the same household, they are going to track and find you, and they are going to charge the subscription holder. That's petty. That's so petty.
How dare you, Netflix? How dare you? The first thing I thought when I see, how dare you? Now, my hope is that they see how crazy this is. They're rolling it out in a couple other countries first to see how it works, but I just don't see this working well for Netflix, not in the United States, man. Everybody's sharing those accounts. Man, look, I got HBO Max. My bro got Netflix. Bang. Now we have both.
That's what I'm saying. But you know what? Once Netflix does it, that means HBO Max, Hulu, Disney Plus, everybody's going to jump on that independent bandwagon, and they're going to be like, oh, that IP address does not match. So the money that we're talking about is probably in other countries. They're trying it in Chile. Let me see. They're trying it, I think, in a few other countries.
3.
Costa Rica, Peru, and Chile. Roughly an additional $2 to $3 a month. Now, that's not a lot of money, but it's still just petty. It's just so petty. This is basically going to be the end of the Netflix password sharing. And it's the company's strategy to shift to try to generate revenue, that they're saying the revenue that's lost. Child, Netflix, you guys are not losing any money. You're just wanting to get more money. An additional $3 a month. See, because that's the thing. So if it's $15 a month and then you make it $18 a month, does that mean we can be in different households and stay on the same account?
I don't know, but hold on though. Let's not act. Netflix just went up not too long ago though. I remember that. I remember that because I got that call like, hey, bro, Netflix is going up. And I'm like, man, just chill. So man, Netflix better stop doing this because they keep going up and up and up, man. They better hope people don't pull the plug. We got options now. I remember when Netflix was the only game in town, but we're far from that now, man. I'm telling you right now, I get kicked off of bro's Netflix account. I'm not going back. We got HBO Max up in here. We got Hulu up in here. We just got the Peacock up in. Man, please.
Oh, y'all got Peacock. Oh, well, let me tell y'all what you need. Y'all need a good homeboy who gets them jailbroken Fire Sticks. I don't know who has them, but what I'm saying is you can have every single channel that you need for the low ski for one good fee per year. And they don't care who has the login and password. I'm just saying. But, you know, it is what it is. I saw John Jupiter talk about Kanye today, and you guys, I could not wait to get to this story. Kanye West finally suspended from Instagram for only 24 hours following a post that came from violating Instagram's policy on racial slurs being directed at Daily Show host Trevor Noah. This is just the icing. This is just like the last thing that it took, because Kanye West has been going ham on social media as it relates to Kim Kardashian and her new boo thing, Pete Davidson, on top of D.L. Hughley and anybody else who decides that they want to enter the conversation about his custody battles.
Anybody can get it.
any and everybody can get it. So Kanye West also posted a rant over the weekend, you guys. And do we have to call him Ye? I mean, I guess that's his legal name now, is Ye. But he posted a rant over the weekend where he was feeling some type of way that Kim Kardashian allowed their eldest daughter, North, to go on TikTok and post some TikTok videos. Now I agree with Kanye West on that. And, their daughter is 9. I'm not really for young kids to be on social media and have a social media platform. She shares the account with her mom, so maybe that's good, maybe that's bad, but I agree with him. However, Kanye West, it's the hypocrisy for me. You're literally a bad influence online. So to say that you don't want North on TikTok because of like all these bad influences, like you're the same thing for other kids and other families. You're the same guy who's threatening everybody. You're the same guy who shot a music video of Pete Davidson where you murdered him, beheaded him, and buried him all at one time because you felt like he was sleeping with your former wife. I mean, it's just, he's out of control. He's ridiculous. And can all the good Black men who's standing around him just say, hey, bro, that's not gangsta. I need you to back up off that phone and off the internet, homie, because it's giving just too much. I hate to see his legacy being torn down for just being wild on the internet.
This is a tough one. I mean, yes, Kanye's wilding. Kanye's been wilding since he said slavery was a choice. I understand all of that, but I mean, I feel him, man. If you don't want your kid on TikTok, you don't want your kid on TikTok. I mean, look, man, there's a lot of drug dealers out here that don't let their kids use drugs. Just because this is how he gets his bag doesn't necessarily mean that this is how he wants his daughter to get her bag, or that he even wants his daughter in the business of chasing a bag right now. I would also point out the fact that, man, Kanye's ex-wife's, her claim to fame was a sex tape. And then her mom immediately sexualized all of her children, man. Like, look at the younger Jenners that was out here dating grown men when they was in their late teens. If Kanye doesn't want his daughter to walk down that path, I respect his choice to not want his daughter to walk down that path. Now, there is a question to ask. Why would you marry Kim Kardashian and then have 4 kids with her if you didn't want those kids to go down that path? Sure. But yet and still, I think it's fair to not want your young daughter to be influenced by Kim Kardashian. I mean, it's just a tough situation. I don't think the way that he's handling things is respectable because he's going way too far and it's a bit much. But I do think the core of his arguments are valid. Like, what is he really saying here? He's saying that he didn't have a choice in what school his daughter went to. Well, if you're co-parenting, I think that should have been a conversation. If you have one parent that doesn't want the kid to be on TikTok, that doesn't mean that he just gets to say no. It means that as parents, they need to come together and have that conversation. And what we're hearing from Kanye, it sounds like that conversation isn't happening. Now, on the flip side, when he flips out because he didn't get to go to the birthday party, I think that's different because you don't get to just come to the crib. Like, you can throw your own birthday party, but, if she doesn't want you in her home, she doesn't have to have you in her home. But I do think that if they're going to be co-parents, they should be co-parents. And it's not fair that her as the mom gets to make every single decision and he as the father gets shut out, especially when he has all of the resources and the time to actually be in his kid's life. He does deserve that chance.
Every parent who's co-parenting is going to have difficulties kind of figuring out the balance of their relationships. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West have both been very open about Kim allowing Kanye to not only take the kids to school, but to come into the house and put the kids to bed and share and be in the household following their separation. So it's not that they didn't have that balance, but, at some point you do move on, right? And I agree. Kanye West as the father absolutely should have a say so. And he's continuing to point out that mothers typically have the priority and they win a lot of the custody battles. Here is my issue. Kanye, you are publicly like losing it in front of everybody and airing out all of your personal family business. At what point do you feel like, let me just get a lawyer and work this out? Or let me sit at the table with all of these grown adults and work this out. why do we, as the 15 million people on your Instagram account, feel like you want to come to talk to us for advice? We are not the right people. And so that is my concern. Additionally, we're talking about somebody who has a big platform. You're talking about, I can afford to threaten you and I can afford to have somebody hurt you. You drop D.L. Hughley's address so that somebody could pull up on him. That's super foul, and that's not gangster. Like, we're talking about another Black man with kids and a wife. So if you really feel some type of way, why are you internet beefing with a real man who basically used you in a sketch and comedy? Like, you're taking it a little bit too serious and a little bit too far. So it's one thing to have issues with your custody battle, and another thing for you to be extremely just like a bully and harassing people online. And that's my issue with Meta. If this were a regular person and was not a celebrity who did not have 15 million followers on their platform, they would have been shut down this Instagram account. Kim Kardashian absolutely has had to increase her security because of the fans and the death threats that she was getting, along with Pete Davidson following that music video in Donda 2. So we feel like this is such an isolated incident, but at the same time, Kanye is unraveling at the seams and it's starting to get unsafe. If this were a regular breakup and these were not celebrities that we were talking about, I think we would look at the situation and be like, he's really not safe.
I agree. Like, I don't disagree with any of that. It's been a long time coming. No, I mean, I do think that it's true that, you know, it's hard on the father in these situations. And I don't mean like the deadbeat. I mean like the guy that actually wants to be there. It's so easy to use the system to make it so that he can't. And that's true. But nah, man, Kanye he's been gone for so long that it just makes me feel weird when people act like they forgot. Like, I don't really, like, I'm not slapping the music at this point. I haven't been for a while. So like, I'm not a Kanye supporter. And the stuff with D.L. Hughley, man, that'll get you touched. Like, if I was DL, man, it would be a lot more serious than the internet, man. I got a family. You drop the Addy. So I get what you're saying, 100%.
Somebody in Kanye's corner needs to not be a yes man and like pull him to the side and be like, bro, get it together. Like, at what point is somebody gonna get Kanye together? It's sad, like, to watch this like unraveling of Kanye West. He is, you know, he's a genius, and it's just, this disruption of legacy is just out of control. But I agree. You marry somebody like Kim Kardashian with the legacy that she comes with the family that she comes with, and then you have 4 babies with her, and then you expect her not to have your children in the limelight.
Yeah, that's wild to me.
Your kids are going to be on reality TV.
Her life is literally a TV show. Like, they come in with the camera. So it's like, it doesn't really make sense for him to take that stance. It really doesn't.
I mean, if you were going to take that stance, you should have chose a different baby mother.
Yeah, but there's 4 kids, so it's not even like they had a kid. And nah, bro, they had 4. Like,
man, it's crazy, guys. We I don't know. There's that. You guys have been so much fun in these comments tonight. It has been hilarious. John Jupiter, thank you again for pulling up fresh out of Facebook jail.
Y'all don't see what we see. Like, y'all see some. We've seen all.
We do see all the vulgar. We definitely appreciate you guys pulling up. Make sure to send us some show topics for next week. We're definitely going to talk about that 800 million that Joe Biden dropped to Ukraine. And also, I want to talk about some stuff with like this new Black Wall Street with Jay-Z and Will Smith, and them getting the new properties, 165 million, and putting in Black families. We talked a little bit about that a couple months ago, but we will talk about that next week.
We need that
power, that is equity, and that is something that we should be highlighting on our show. Mike Davis, that's a show.
Oh man, that was a fun one, y'all. Well, you can find me anywhere you find the Emerald. Also, Wednesday mornings, I'm on the Morning Update show, and then Thursday night, 7 p.m., I'm right here kicking it with y'all.
All right. Well, I'm Jules Jessie. You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Treasure of JULES. You know what it is. And on Thursdays, of course, you can find me on the Morning Update real quick to drop you the tea on what we're going to talk about on 7 o'clock, Clap Black Culture, right here with y'all once again. So it's always my pleasure. And man, we'll see you guys again next week. Until then, peace.